I know it's kind of weird because we didn't schedule this. So here we are. We just randomly decided to do another recording of our artificial intelligence academics podcast, AI Academics. Vugo and I always chat about some of the latest developments in AI and specifically the ones that are relevant for academics. If you have been following my friend Ilya Shabanov on LinkedIn and Twitter, he had a very nice overview of all the Black Friday sales, which also included the link to our AI research tools webinar, which you can find up there somewhere as the QR code if you're interested in that. So we are, of course, running a little sale for that as we are entering the last of the Black Friday. Is it still Friday? It's Monday. It's the Cyber Monday, I guess, as part of the Black Friday, which is kind of cool. But anyways, yeah, so we're running that. And thanks to Ilya for featuring all of these nice tools together. It was really awesome that he did all of that. And what we wanted to do today, just give you a quick overview of some of the recent developments. One of the things that I thought was kind of funny was this Gen Chess idea that Vuger apparently doesn't have access to because he is located in Germany. Hey, Vuger,
Hey,
first of all, welcome. What do you think? A chess inspired
yeah,
AI?
I'm so first of all, hi everyone, and hi Leonard. Thank you again having me as your the main guest. So we are doing this basically together.
Yeah,
As you said, I really enjoy chatting with you, and personally, I have learned a lot from you, and we are continuously learning together, and we are sharing our experience sometimes through our webinars, but mostly through our channels on Twitter, on Medium, on you have a Substack, very solid Substack account where you share your, all very nice long. So I am personally reading all of your emails every week that you send,
thanks.
and each time I learn something new. It's full of value, and I definitely suggest anyone who is watching this video to check your Substack account. But I write on Medium from time to time. So we basically share our experience. Of course, we have learned a lot in these last 2 years, we can say, and we are just sharing our experience. And we are always trying to find the ways how to integrate these AI tools into our workflows in a most efficient and ethical way. And I really enjoyed this journey, and we continue to do so. Thank you being my partner in this journey, Leonard.
Yeah, no problem.
So yeah,
Um,
let's what is
let's
it? What is this
yeah.
classic chess? And
Yeah, so it's a I think it's a wild idea that's coming out of Google Labs right now, where you can do either a classic or a creative chess set. I did inspired by academia here, so as you can see, you get some of
mm,
these different pieces. You get the king, and then it says a classic king inspired by academia. You can just click on it and regenerate it, and then it says regenerating king, and it will. It's kind of weird that it gives it a little globe thing.
mhm.
And then if you go to the queen and you can click on it or hit regenerate, and then it will regenerate that chess piece. And I'll just give it different
Yeah,
versions, and then you can go back and it will put it all together. You can share it here if you wanted to. And you can download the PNGs. You could create your own game, even if you use these as isometric assets. So it's kind of a neat idea for generating chess pieces. Somebody clearly had too much time on their hands to come up with this. But yeah, let's go with NASA and generate a creative chess set inspired by NASA. Um, let's see if we get some astronauts here. So it takes a little time, and then it will. Oh yeah, we do get some astronauts, and then it comes up with these creative pieces.
so
Now, the more
where is Elon Musk here?
yeah,
Elon
well,
Musk
he's not
should be
part of
here.
NASA, right? Like
Yes.
we could do space flight, and maybe something else comes up. But yeah, so I think it's kind of a neat thing to give you these different pieces together that you could then use to think, what is this guy on a rover? Okay, cool. And yeah, and then as
And
you
what you can do with these kind of small logos, if you download this as PNG, you can use them for what
yeah, so I
purposes?
think it might be. I'm assuming somebody's already working on some sort of web plugin because you could, in theory, use Claude and create your own little web script, web game, and
Mm.
and run some of these things. Could be kind of cool. which I think is like just a nice idea. But yeah, I think at the start of it, it's just a nice way of generating chess pieces and maybe using them as game assets and creating something like that. But it's not the only thing that is Gen something. Gen chess was one of the big things. The other thing that came from 11 Labs, and I unfortunately can't share my phone right now, so we're gonna have to make do with. Let me just see if I can share that in a separate tab here. Is this 11 Reader. I don't know if you know about 11 Reader. It's one of my favorite new platforms on the phone. It's completely free to download. I unfortunately paid $100-something for Speechify at the start of the year. Definitely canceled that a long time ago. Completely, I think it's completely too much they are charging for a subscription. It's not bad. It's just a nice tool to read academic papers. And so 11 Reader is completely free. It uses the speech engine of 11 Labs. And I really like uploading my papers into it and then getting sort of the voiceover to the paper. It has some excellent voices in there. As you know, I've also done that with other tools in the past. I know you've tried out some tools. We talked about
Yeah.
in our AI research tools webinar here on the
Odemic,
top.
that was.
Yeah, exactly. Odemic was one of the ones. But yeah, if you're, maybe I can, I don't know if I can move that to the other, whoop. Yeah, move it over here. That way we can see more. But yeah, in our webinar, we talk about that as well. I guess now we have the logo in the way. Whatever. So the idea is essentially, maybe I'll just hide this. I can't hide everything. The idea is, I can hide the logo. There we go. The idea is that you have this tool where you can just quickly upload a book, or you can upload a PDF of your paper, and then it reads it to you with, like I said, with a nice speech engine. And I find that really, that's kind of how I power read these days, because I listen to it, but it also scrolls the cursor really quickly on the parts of the paper that I need to read. So it's really a tool that makes it quite fast for me to read over things. But they introduced GenFM, which is essentially, and you could talk about Notebook LM for a little bit there, because we know Notebook LM now is a free Google tool that allows us to create podcasts of our papers. It's also like a great tool to work with sections of papers that you have available. But GenFM, I really like, because it is the same speech power that you get from 11 Labs, which you might know is one of the leading, in terms of voice cloning, one of the leading AI companies out there. So you get that really realistic voice, and then you get this little discussion between the two artificial speakers. So you usually have a man and a woman talking to each other in that podcast, asking questions about that paper. So it's like a nice, they put it here, prep for a class, so you can prep with your study notes. You can do it on full books too, right? Like it always summarizes it in a, I think, 7 to 12 minute podcast. So it's not super long and won't go into too much detail. I'll try to find the most important bits. But I think for papers, it's kind of nice if you want to just get the gist of the paper, and you could even download it and offer it on your website as in like, hey, here's a pop science version of my paper. In case you don't want to read the entire thing, just listen to this 10-minute podcast. You get the basic ideas. I think for science communication, that's a powerful tool. Really like it. Yeah. Your thoughts on that, Booger?
Yeah, this one I just downloaded it. You told me about this, and
Yeah.
I will be definitely testing it. And then we talked a lot. I think we talked about the Speechify before,
Yeah.
and I know you played it with a lot, and
Yeah.
you paid for it.
This is better though. Like, I gotta tell you, this
Yes,
is free right now. I'm sure
now
they'll
you have a
commercialize it,
better
but
option and free. I
yeah,
liked Speechify, I must say. It's really a
yeah,
good one. I
yeah,
tested it for a couple of with very few articles, but now I will definitely test this new one.
yeah.
It's definitely a good one because, as you mentioned, you can do this with Notebook LM as well. You can
Hmm.
I not only with books and articles. I even tested it with the laws. I upload the text of the law,
Yeah,
and the two guys, one male and female, discussing the details of, and you can even restrict which area of the document should be discussed in that podcast. It is kind of podcast which you can download
yeah,
and you can listen, and it sounds so natural, and Of course, it's not 100% flawless. I found some stuff that they miss during their talk, and or
Mm,
they misinterpret when it is, with fictional books or something that it's not that serious. But for
yeah.
example, if it is about the serious academic document, like academic article, you want to understand seriously. And also, if it is a law, in my case, was it a law, if you want to understand. So that was the law. I knew the details. I just wanted to test how it is. But that is really amazing. That
Mhm.
sounds extremely real. That experience I only had with 11 labs, because I think we talked about it, that 11 labs is the best one to synthesize these with voices and to create speech to, basically text to speech. It's the best one for the text to speech generation.
Yeah, definitely.
And but with the notebook LM, it's really good one. It's fascinating that it's completely free. You can upload up to 50 documents, and then you can. One drawback for me is that I do not see the exact amount of the backend context. So for example, for Claude AI projects, there's a limit for each project, and it gives me a feeling that the Claude will not miss any part from the document, and it will
Mm.
scan the whole document. But with the Notebook LM, yeah, you want to add a comment on that?
No, no, no. I think you're right. The Notebook LM feels like there's some summarization going on sometimes.
And it
Um,
misses some part of the documents.
yeah, I think it's really nice for certain things like reference letter writing when you kind of want to work based on a set of given achievements or whatever, and then you have the text for the job ad that you're writing the reference letter for. It can really help you with that kind of stuff. But of course, when it comes to creative writing, having tested all of these different LLMs, I feel like Claude is still the best when it comes to just the way it phrases things and gets everything ready for you. I think, yeah, there's something there where there is some internal summarization happening to try and make these things more concise, I guess. Yeah, in Notebook LM. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So Claude AI, this token limit, I think it's around 200K
yeah, yeah,
now, and ChatGPT it is 128K, and
yeah,
200K token means around 400 and 500 pages. So
yeah.
for the each project, you can upload this amount of pages, and you can feel a bit sure that no part of the documents will miss. And
Mhm.
even if it misses, if you ask go and detail again and again, it scans through the document better. So Claude, in my experience, Claude is really doing better than Notebook LM of the
Mhm.
Google, and also the GPT of the Chat GPT. Because in Chat GPT, same thing is there. There is no, you don't see the context limit. So you don't see how much. So I can upload as many as documents, so as I want. So
Yeah,
but here, for example, it is 50. But 50, how long the document, the maximum, the length of the document should be.
yeah, yeah.
Each document be 500 pages, or if it is, which part of the missed or not.
Mhm.
And the second drawback with the Notebook LM for me was that sometimes it was referring to the information in the document, but on the right page. Like, if you ask generate a text for me, but also after each sentence put the pages, it put
Yeah.
the number of the wrong pages. That information is still in the document, but the number of the pages is wrong. Sometimes it
Mm.
confuses the page numbers, but most of the cases it is also putting the correct page number as well. But sometimes, in my experience, which I tested heavily, it is not doing the 100% accuracy. So but
Yeah.
still, Notebook LM free, totally free, better than
So,
most
so
of
is
the.
11 Reader, right? Like it's also
Yes,
completely free. So yeah, it's
and definitely better than most of the paid versions, where you can upload your document and you can interact with your document. And
yeah.
so instead of paying and using those specific ones, maybe Notebook LM could be. So we are not affiliated I wish we could, but
Yeah,
and
but currently
but
not.
still, we I have to mention this because
Yeah,
we what we are sharing every week, it's our own pure experience,
yeah,
just
yeah.
what we did. So for
We haven't
example,
gotten
I
any
didn't.
sponsorship
Yes,
for
so we
those.
didn't
Okay.
know. I didn't know personally about the reader of the 11 Labs, which is I am going to test it after our webinar, after
Yeah.
our today's session. But the Notebook LM, the same goes for the Notebook LM. So that's it for the Notebook LM. Did you use also the Notebook LM, or did you have
Oh
chance
yeah,
to test it?
yeah. No, definitely. I used it. I trained some of my students in using some of the features. I think it's really great for some of the administrative work that we have to do in academia. Again, if you have to work with several documents, you have to extract information from those documents. I find it super powerful for that. Specifically, multiple documents, right? Like, sure, with so first of all. There's always this thing about privacy concerns as well, right? Google, I know you can turn it on and off, but you still, I'm not 100% sure about the how much does it actually use to feed the model, right? So that I'm not 100% clear on. But I do like that you can essentially erase everything with one click, and then it's all gone. Your entire chat history is gone. I've tried that a couple of times.
Or
So
do
that
they? Or do they?
well, at least for you, it's gone. I don't know if it's gone from their servers or for them because it's Google, so don't trust the data kraken. But
Mm,
on the other hand, what you find in Claude's privacy policies is that they don't use it to train their model, and I think that's really something that's a little bit more reassuring. If you want to be a little bit more certain, you can use tools like Typing Mind or something that runs locally on your machine and just query it via the API, and then try to get some of that feedback that way. So there's measures in place that you could do to try and keep it more private. You could run your own version of Mistral, right? Like and run everything locally if you really wanted to. But again, quality is always the concern. I mean, that's the main concern I get from when I see student work generated with the free version of ChatGPT, which is usually ChatGPT 4 mini. And as you know, the quality is like night and day difference if you use the mini model versus the more elaborate model. So it's almost like a two-tier world right now in terms of quality that you can generate and quality that you get out of those interactions between the higher end models, which you have to pay the premium for, versus the lower end models, which are usually free. So Notebook LM being free, I think some corners are being cut probably to make this available for free. 11 Labs, the reader thing, maybe there's something going on there as well. I could, see that they're trying to cut some corners maybe as well. But maybe it's also advertising for building a bigger thing. Something that you might not be aware of, there was this. So one of the things in the productivity space is we're very much about trying to capture everything that we see and save it somewhere to read it later. And there's a couple of tools you can use for that. A lot of people use Pocket. I use Readwise Reader, which is a really nice tool for that. And I talked about that in our AI webinar as well. But another tool that was really popular was called Omnivore. And that was a team, and I think it was open. I don't know if it was open source, but it's definitely free for many people. And they just got bought by 11 Labs. So that entire team is now working on 11 Reader, which is interesting. So that actually was
mm.
what piqued my interest in 11 Reader, where I'm just like, this is kind of cool. Getting a team that is really good at using and synthesizing all of that information. And maybe they were working on some of the AI features of that tool as well. And now this is being integrated into 11 Labs. So is 11 Labs going, maybe, again, I don't know anyone there, but are they maybe going in the direction of allowing us to synthesize the entire internet in a way that we can put the internet on voice, right? Like, I think there are accessibility advantages for that. I think it is really changing how we read things. We have this enhanced reading capability now that is enabled by a tool like this. And I must say, for me, it is different. I mean, you might have heard people talk about this before about retention of the written word. You can read without listening to it, but if you read and at the same time listen to it, plus you can set a speed for the reading, sure, you could still read faster without listening to it, but I do feel there is something to be said about the retention. So I can really power read an academic paper that sometimes I would have to read and reread every sentence because some things are really complex and difficult. But here, because I have the intention set and the focus, and the listening that propels me forward, I now have a faster way to get through that paper, right? Like everyone's always looking for these shortcuts. This is not a shortcut. This is literally enhancing the way that you can parse and process that information in the time. So I do think that's kind of nice as a way to make you a little bit more mindful for some of that stuff. So
Definitely, definitely.
yeah,
Same goes for me. You sometimes, if you don't understand the in detail, but if you read and at the same time the hear the same text from the voice and you
yeah,
can follow, you definitely comprehend better. That happened to me actually. In our webinar, we talked about another AI tool.
mm,
With that tool, I did the same thing with my own paper and also with other papers. And when you read and when you hear at the same time, definitely I agree that you comprehend, you understand better and
yeah,
some details better. And because it's kind of not still passive activity,
mm,
but now you are supporting your own reading from you open another way to get the information through hearing, I mean.
yeah,
And then it definitely it's not even, I wouldn't say that it is a shortcut. It is even more difficult, and it is even more tiring doing that, because you read and at the same time to at the same time you listen, because when I do that I get more
mm,
tired faster than
yeah.
I was doing the only reading alone. But still I wouldn't say it's shortcut, but still a nice way to solidify the
Yeah.
understanding of the paper, at least the academic paper.
I think that's nice. One of the things I also want to talk about for a hot second here is this idea of how our behavior on the internet is changing as well. So, as you might know, the Google Chrome browser got updated recently as well, and I think we kind of quickly chatted about some of that in one of our recent outings here. And the problem is, if you're not in the US, you cannot access a lot of these features, which all seem pretty cool. But some of them, I think I tried it in Canada and it wasn't possible last time, so maybe it's changed now. But I'm pretty sure in Germany it's also not possible to do some of these things. But we
Most
already
probably
know them
not.
from. Have you tried it?
No, this is the
No,
first time. I don't use
you
Chrome
don't
since
use Chrome
last
because you're
year
using Arc.
anymore,
Yeah, exactly.
because yeah,
I mean, but that was the thing. Like it just kind of it got inspiration from Arc. Clearly, we like Arc as a browser. It's really a useful browser, and it did the smart organization of the tabs and summarization stuff like that. It does smart downloads, and here it has generative themes now. So that's kind of a neat thing to maybe try out. It has, of course, deep Gemini integration, which you would expect
hmm
from a Google product. And then it, of course, has the idea of Gemini as part of rewriting and
hmm
rewriting tools, similar as what Apple is doing with Apple Intelligence. So this is interesting because I'd actually really like to see some of these. So I wonder what the impact of these rewriting tools like Apple Intelligence and some other rewriting tools is on getting to the same outcome with really professional editing tools. Like we have PaperPal, we have what is it called,
Jenny,
Quillbot, we got Jenny AI, we've got Yomu, we've got
yeah.
but those are more co-writers, right? Like those I can still see are super useful. Jenny and Yomu allow you that co-writing experience, but I wonder about these editing tools. Even Hemingway app, which is one of my favorites when it comes to editing, is clearly getting some competition here. Again, for me, still the key feature is in Hemingway that thesaurus, the AI thesaurus that allows you to find words or entire sentences and replace entire sentences with different words. So for paraphrasing is really great. And Quillbot does that paraphrasing as well. A lot of these tools are, of course, on Black Friday sale as well. So the question really is, this is all free, right? Like this all comes for free, similar as Apple Intelligence comes in theory for free, but you have to pay for the very expensive Apple product in the first place. So, hey, thanks for giving me some service for free here.
Exactly.
But I think that's kind of a neat thing to think about. Like what are they doing with some of these free tools that are coming our way that are all AI based? Of course, I think essentially what's happening is the same as you're seeing when you're doing a Google search these days and you're getting some of these summaries. It's hit or miss. Or what some people are saying, I've experienced that as well with Apple AI. Some of these summaries of your notifications are kind of meh in terms of helpfulness.
Yeah,
In the same way, Google summaries of search results are kind of like, yeah, I know you're
yeah.
trying to help, but really, I don't think you're helping me that much in terms of finding my results. So I think the intention is great, and I do appreciate that intention, but like, is it really helping?
I think for the first time, Google really feels that it has a very tough competition is going on right now. You
Yeah,
know, after the search GPT stuff, and also with the arc, you can basically, if you click on the shift at the same time and
yeah,
click enter, instead of searching through internet, it searches through chat GPT and answers your question. And the second thing I find the arc is very nice feature is that you can basically, if you do the control F, if you want to search for something, you can type in, but again you can ask the arc directly to summarize the page you are reading. For
yeah,
example, if I open an article and about anything, if it is long, I ask to summarize. Of course, it doesn't work the very long articles, but it summarizes a couple of stuff, couple of percentage, up to couple of up to some percentage. But here, the Chrome, I think they have they are the most powerful company along,
mm,
Apple, and they can do right now whatever they want.
yeah.
But but I feel that for the first time they are kind of competing. That's my feeling.
Mhm.
Maybe it is wrong because ChatGPT looks powerful,
Right,
and
right now it's more
Claudia,
powerful
yes,
than all of them. This
because
is the tricky bit. I think that you said right now is also like as an assistant, right? Like because this is trying to be an assistant. I
Mhm.
think neither what we're getting from Gemini or what we're getting from Siri is as smart as asking Claude or ChatGPT in voice mode,
Yes,
which you can do through the apps on your phone as well. So that voice mode is still top notch. Or even here's the main comparison: Perplexity, right? Like Perplexity, I think is really the main competition for Google search because it does that amalgamation of search results and always gives you a good answer. So using Perplexity voice mode for me is the killer app on the phone. Like
mm,
that is just unbeatable when you have questions.
exactly, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. And I see now, DuckDuckGo. I think you also know
yeah,
this search engine
yeah.
is also trying to come up with its own, kind
Oh,
of.
they are.
When you search, it suggests you if you want the summary from DuckDuckGo instead of searching through internet. It So I think, the tough competition is going on, and it's
Interesting.
good, but we will see how in which direction it will navigate us.
Yeah, I see that. Um, One of the things I want to ask you how you feel about that in Arc specifically, and of course it's coming to Chrome as well. I think it's going to come to all browsers. Is the replacing the search with generative AI? So for me, I have like mixed feelings about that because I can control F in Arc, and I just want to find that word. But often, instead of telling me the word's not there, it'll just give me a response or it'll just summarize the first three quarters of the page or something like that, and that's not always what I want. Sometimes I really just want token finding and replacement. So
Mhm.
for the expert users, you're kind of trying to take away some of their control power or whatever with that integrated answer machine that's now search. Are we saying goodbye to search for good in the future because of AI?
Uh, Maybe, but I have concerns about that as well because
Yeah.
the Arc uses the ChatGPT, and basically, like, what you can do through Search GPT, you can do the same thing through Arc by
Mm.
using this Arc browser. But what if the so who guarantees us that ChatGPT will show us the most relevant and the best answer rather than showing us the one who paid for it? And
Interesting. That'll be the future. Yeah.
yes,
Paid answers in AI models. That's a
yes,
monetization
that is for sure will come
tricky.
because all these tools and all these companies are fighting for for basically that we all fight is money.
Mm.
And it's- and I think this monetization of the search results of the GPT and of also the other tools. So the
Yeah.
Google has huge fines in European Union because of showing the certain search results on top of everything, because they paid Google for that.
Mhm.
And I think same thing will happen with Search GPT and also the Arc and everything.
Mhm.
Then I will not be able 100% sure if we get the result that 100% relevant and 100% the best answer to our question.
Mhm.
That is, and there comes concern that who pays for being highlighted or being boosted
Yeah.
as an answer of the chat GPT. We will see that answer. So
Yeah.
again, still that's the only concern, maybe not only, a couple of among other concerns I have.
Yeah.
So again, we have to check, like,
Yeah.
as we always recommend, never trust 100% these AI tools. If you analyze, for example, a text with notebook LM, don't just copy paste that summary, don't just rely on that summary that notebook LM gives you. You have to check the original source, not
Yeah.
even double. I would definitely recommend the triple check if you, yeah, if you want to get the reliable work. So
Mhm.
I think we can wrap up here with this note, always
Yeah.
recommending the efficient, ethical way of using integrating. But first of all, we have to understand what task we are doing, what task we have to have, and which part of it we can delegate. And we explained, you personally explained, the language of the AI tools, its prompting, the prompt
Mhm.
engineering, and you explained very good tactics in our webinar. So anyone who wants to learn how to write good prompts for academic purposes, they can check our webinar, which is now, I think, a couple of hours still there
Yeah.
to get it with the discounted prices.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
think that that's really the main thing that we want to end on here. If you're tuning in today, if you're watching this as a replay on LinkedIn, and you want to get the special prize for Cyber Monday, still, this is the last day. You can get that. Feel free to scan that QR code and get to the page of the webinar. Um, if you're not sure how to scan a QR code, send us a DM, and we'll make sure to get you there as well. We're very excited that we had the chance to record this. Thanks again so much for hanging out with me, Vugar, and we hope to see
I
you in
thank
our
you.
webinar as well.
Yeah. See you in our next session.